Welcome to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast, a relaxing and informative show where we explore anxiety, panic, and PTSD, sharing how you can overcome them for life.
Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I am so happy to be with you again today as together we can consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about nature's therapy and how being near water can really help you to ease your anxiety. It's summertime almost when I am recording this, and I really got thinking about the beauty of nature and how we can get more of it in our lives because it is so soothing. Often we think we have to go and do a big forest bathing and find a special place to go, or spending entire weekends or vacations in the wilderness. But the reality is we can dip into, pardon the pun, more nature with water. And there is more water around you than you can imagine, and it's accessible to everyone. So I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into how water could be helpful to us. I mean, those puns are just coming out of nowhere, I swear. Here we go. One of the most effective and easily available strategies for mental health, as I was doing my digging, came up is to be able to spend more time in nature. We're always here looking for the ways that anybody can do, whether you're on medication or not on medication, whether you've been diagnosed with a particular mental struggle or you are just feeling like you are off, or you are anxious, or you are depressed, or sad, or you are struggling with some of life. Life on this planet is difficult. There is no reason to feel bad about having a bit of a struggle with it. It's okay. But when we get like that, we want to figure out, what can we do for ourselves? What can everybody do? So I wanted to dig deeper into the water idea, because even if you live in a city, you can access water. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But I wanted to give you some facts here. So Dr. Natalie Azar, she is the medical consultant for NBC News. She explained that being near water simply calms your internal mood. She said, and I quote, "I believe we have all experienced it, but we have never really been intentional about it." End of quote. And that's what I'm getting to here today. We are around water. We actually feel different when we're around water, but we haven't been really intentional about it. We've just been having it be a part of our lives, and maybe we pay attention to the difference after we've been around or in water, but maybe we don't. We may or may not have been noticing. So I thought maybe we could learn to be more intentional. Having access to water does improve mental health. Several ways being near or in the water can be good for your mental health. It inspires us. It inspires amazement in the viewer. According to Azar, she says something greater than ourselves is inspired in us when we are near water, and it slightly broadens your mind. Let's think about that. Now, I live where there's huge body of water, right? And before I lived here, I lived on a lake that had not as big a horizon of water, but there was open, empty space. There is a reason we go and put park benches near ponds and lakes, and we are drawn to go to the ocean or to the sea. It offers calming sensory effects. And according to Azar, a body of water can be highly calming regarding sound, scent, and sight. Additionally, if it makes you think of something familiar, such as the salty sea air from when you were a kid, it can also induce relaxing, uplifting frame of mind and bring us closer to those memories of when we were carefree and enjoying every little moment. It encourages introspection and mindfulness. Water is actually alive. It comes in so many different hues. It's in motion. And Azar explained that your focus is now there rather than all the outside noise. So you are there with the water. Your focus is finite. You are in the present moment rather than thinking and being with all of the hubbub. And this is the beautiful break that so many need when you are struggling with anxious, ruminating thoughts. She said that it can also induce a feeling of floating that lets your body rest and keeps your concentration. Now that's when we're in the water, right? So we talk about floating here as a metaphor for the floating that we can feel in the water. But if you have the option of getting in the water and being able to float, think about how that lets you rest and how it keeps your concentration. You have to be aware that you are letting go because we can't float when we are uptight or thrashing about. And we do a lot of thrashing about when we're anxious, don't we? I know I did. So floating, the actual physical act of floating can bring you so much rest. Now, according to recent studies, there are advantages to being near water or in what is known as blue spaces. For instance, a study that appeared in Scientific Reports a while back discovered that residents who lived close to blue spaces had lower risks for mental health problems. Now, I found that fascinating because I have always been drawn to water. Now, I didn't know there was such a thing as blue spaces, but if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that I live on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean right now. But prior to this, I lived in a little village that was on a lake. And my store was right on the lake. We had a back door that opened out to a dock, and there was the lake. Now, my other store, the second store, was on a canal, the Erie Canal. So it had, again, not as big as the lake, and the lake not as big as the Pacific Ocean. But obviously, I have felt enough of a relief, maybe being around these, quote, blue spaces, that I am drawn to that so that I would want to look. These were not done consciously, these decisions, but I think there's a lot to that because I do feel good looking out at big open expanses of blue space. Now, additionally, researchers polled people and in 18 other nations for a study that was published in the same journal. According to their findings, folks who frequented blue areas more often reported experiencing less mental ailments and having higher levels of general well-being. Is this good information? You probably you're saying like, of course, but it is really interesting to see when it has been done in a study and that they have quantified this a little bit. And I think it's interesting because we do feel better, whether you are around an ocean or a lake, a stream, a pond, a waterfall, or a babbling brook, or the shower, but we'll get to that. So, of course, being in nature isn't a substitute for any of the other things that you need to do for your well-being and your mental health, but it is accessible to all of us. So why not add this into our tool belt of things that are good for our mental health and for easing our stress and our anxiety? The advantages can be obtained with or without your actual presence, which we're going to really love here at ACP because I know everybody doesn't live near the water. So it's okay if you're in a place without a natural body of water. Azar stated, quote, urban water counts, end of quote, which includes lakes, ponds, canals, fountains, swimming pools, and bathtubs. This is what I'm talking about. I also have always wanted to have one of those little water effects in my house. I don't have one, but I thought it would be so nice to hear the babbling water inside my cottage, right? But we all have, if not a bathtub, we have a sink, we have a shower, and we are going to make this water, whatever we can access, work for us. If traveling to a body of water is difficult, you can still get some of its advantages by listening to or viewing films of water, videos of water. You only need maybe up to 2 hours a week is what Azar suggested. Therefore, a few minutes of such exposure each day can really make an impact. And this is where I love stacking these little changes in our lives because they build up and make a difference in our mental well-being. We don't have to, like I said, take a whole weekend or a week vacation and go off into nature or to the ocean. You can do this at your place. If you have a phone or a computer, you can be viewing or listening to water. Few minutes each day, they have found, can make a difference. Since water can be beneficial to mental health, can water sounds and videos really be helpful also? And it turns out, yes, water sounds and videos can be helpful for our mental health, especially if you are unable to be near an actual body of water. We in this life don't have to just walk around with a sad face because we can't do the exact perfect thing that has been suggested to us. We are resilient, we are resourceful, and we're going to find a way. So you can't get to the ocean? Well, you can watch the ocean on video. So if these studies have found that the mental health is helped by water sounds and videos, we're going to see how they can be helpful. The first one is through relaxation and stress relief. Listening to water sounds such as ocean waves. Okay, I have to stop here and tell, again, I've probably mentioned it before, the ocean wave story of my daughter when she was little, was resistant to going to sleep and had difficulty going to bed at night. And we had an ocean wave tape, a little cassette tape, and a little cassette player next to her bed on the bedstand. And we would play that ocean, and it would play through the night, and the next day we would take it out, flip it over, and play it again. It was the same thing on both sides, and it had just a little bit of a flute sound maybe in the background. But I swear, I remember thinking, I hope she takes that to college with her. Because we had used that so much, and when she was a little kid, it was the answer. It became routine. And you see, we know these things intuitively. We know what makes us feel better. So I hope that you will take a few little tips out of today and get yourself into some water one way or another. So back to stress relief and relaxation by listening to or watching water. Listening to water sounds such as the ocean waves, as I mentioned, raindrops, or a flowing river can induce a state of relaxation and help to reduce stress. The rhythmic and repetitive nature of water sounds can have a calming effect on the mind, similar to the experience of being near water. The second one, sleep aid. So here we go. I don't know, somehow we knew what we were doing even though we didn't know what we were doing with that cassette tape. Water sounds can be particularly useful for promoting better sleep. Many people find the sound of rain or gentle waves soothing and use them as background noise to help them fall asleep faster and enjoy a more restful sleep. I hope those of you who have trouble falling asleep are taking notes here, because this is a very easy tool to add to your toolbox. Third one is focus and productivity. Some individuals find that the water sounds like white noise or nature sounds can improve their focus and concentration. These sounds can create a consistent and soothing backdrop, helping block distractions and to enhance productivity, especially in noisy environments. So this could be great if you are in a very busy or noisy office. You could maybe, if you're allowed to use your earbuds, use your earbuds and just have this playing. It doesn't have to be so loud that you don't hear other things, but your focus will go to that. The background focus, the background attention will go to the sound of the water versus paying background attention to all the noise in the office or in the whatever setting you are in. You don't have to completely block it out. It's just that you give your mind something else to pay attention to, and that is so much more soothing and relaxing. The fourth one is meditation and mindfulness. And it absolutely is true. Water sounds can be used as a meditation aid, helping to create a peaceful and serene atmosphere. Listening to water sounds during meditation or your mindfulness practice can enhance your ability to stay present in the moment and deepen your relaxation. I hope that you will try this, especially people who are having difficulty staying with meditation for more than 5 minutes. Find a water sound that is 10 minutes. And go with that. You know it's going to end. You don't have to watch the clock, and that you can just let that busy mind that runs in the background when you are trying to pay attention to your breath or your thoughts, that part that's in the background, let that be going to the sound of the water, whether it be the ocean waves or a babbling brook. I hope you will try that. It's very good to use for beginning meditators. The fifth one I have is ambient background. Water, videos, or sounds can serve as ambient background noise during all kinds of different activities, whether you're studying, working, or engaging in creative pursuits. Having water sounds playing in the background can create a really pleasant and calming environment. And the final one is virtual escapism. Watching videos of water scenes such as ocean waves, waterfalls, or peaceful lakes can provide a sense of virtual escapism. This can be a nice distraction. These visuals can transport you to a serene and beautiful natural setting, even if you're physically unable to be there. This can help reduce anxiety, elevate mood, and provide a temporary mental retreat. I would also like to suggest to tag on to this is so can actual physical paintings or photographs that are hung. To just be able to have those in your environment and lay eyes on them occasionally throughout the day can be a beautiful break from the busy mind. When using water sounds or videos for mental well-being, finding what works best for you is what's key. Experiment with different kinds of water sounds. Do you like crashing waves or gentle rain? Do you like a bubbling stream? And see what resonates most with you. Explore various platforms or apps that offer water-themed relaxation or meditation content. YouTube is full of them. Get in there, look around, and make it an adventure. I hope today's show was helpful for you, and I look forward to being here with you again in another few days. And now for today's quote. Water is sufficient. The spirit moves over water. And that's from Friedrich Nietzsche. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. Find more information at theanxietycoachespodcast.com.